Hey up. Right, horrible weather we're having at the moment. First of all, thank you to everybody that's given good wishes to Willow. Obviously, I'm not a vet and I don't want to jinx things, but I'm changing the dressings on his paw daily and it does seem to have improved hugely. The vet seemed to think that he's possibly going to lose half of the pad that's been sort of cut. But looking at it, and as I've said, I'm not a vet, I think it's actually healing. The vet thought that part of his pad would die off and it would have to heal, which was going to be a very long, drawn-out process. But it actually looks like the wound has knitted together to me. So, fingers crossed, we should know what's happening tonight. This last week has been horrific weather-wise. We've had snow, we've had freezing fog, we've had black ice. We've had torrential rain, freezing rain, as it was on the day of filming. And when it's like this, I have to resort to sort of guerrilla filming tactics. You know, you rush out when you get a gap in the weather, and then it starts raining, you have to cut filming short, cram everything back into the garage, which then causes you a problem next time you need to film. Then I've got boxes containing parts getting wet and falling apart. It's an absolute nightmare. Anyway, enough moaning. I'm really tired. I've not had a break since last Christmas, so I'll just give you the heads up that over Christmas I will be taking a week or so off. I'm not quite sure of the dates as yet. I'll tell you closer to the time. Now, I'm a passionate motorcyclist, as you know. It forms a huge part of this channel. But I see motorcycles as a form of transport that shouldn't interfere too much with the way you dress. I like to turn up at my destination looking like, you know, a normal human being, not Mad Max. Or even worse, a Power Ranger. And I do like to wear decent footwear that, you know, is good for walking around in once you get to your destination, rather than a pair of sort of stiff, clanky motorcycle boots. And as you know, I do the occasional boot review, something that people have asked me to do more, and I've got a couple coming up hopefully before Christmas, or at least one of them before Christmas. And in the past, where the Classic 350 REborn is concerned, people have suggested that I fit a heel-toe gear changer, something that I've not really used since riding a Honda C50 back in my teens. Now, the Meteor 350 that I tested a few years ago had a heel-toe changer, and I think they come as standard on that bike, and I didn't get on with it very well because I didn't have enough flexibility in my ankle to be able to change up with my heel. But obviously, that particular changer wasn't set up for me. And when actually fitting them, you do have a degree of adjustability to get them exactly how you want them. So I thought I would give it a try and see how I get on. Because as I say, I've got these boot reviews coming up and I thought it would be nice to have one fitted so that I'm not getting sort of black marks on a nice pair of new boots. And as is so often the case, I ended up looking at this one from Hitchcock's, which is a bit of a bargain at under £30. As always, I'll leave a link to this product in the video description down below. From what I can see, this is very similar, if not the same, as the item that's fitted to the Meteor 350. It's been stamped out of quite thick sheet metal with a peg sort of welded onto the end as the toe changer, and then it's all been chrome plated to give it some durability in wet weather. It's quite a workman-like piece, you know, not designed for looks particularly, it's designed to do a job. Some people might not like that, but I actually think it looks very neat and tidy once it's on the bike. Now, there is a tiny bit of assembly to do. First of all, you need to fit the rubber toe boot, and this is a very tight fit. You'll notice that it's wider at one end than it is at the other. It's the wide end that goes onto the actual spigot, and it just needs a lot of very firm pressure and some jiggling about to get it to go all the way on. Don't be tempted to lubricate it with anything to make it easier to push into place, because, you know, if it's easy to push on, it's easy to come off. You need this to be a tight fit so that it doesn't slip off in use. So it's better if you don't lubricate it. Once it's on, it's on. Now also in the package you'll find the actual fixing bolt for tightening up the collar. You can leave this until you've actually got the heel toe changer on the bike. If you do decide to thread it on before fitting it, make sure that it's not crimping that collar at all, because it may well inhibit fitting. Either way, it should be threaded into the collar so that it's pointing towards the rear of the motorcycle. It's not designed to go in the other way because of the way that this part is threaded. Once you've familiarised yourself with the new changer, obviously it's time to fit it, which means that you've got to take the old changer off. And this isn't quite as straightforward as you might think. Once you've fully slackened off the bolt, what you'll find is you'll be able to sort of manipulate it forward off the spline so far. But then the foot peg hanger gets in the way and you can't remove it. Now, just a little bit of advice: if you find it won't move at all after you've removed the bolt, it might just mean that you need to prise the jaws of the collar open a little bit with a flat-bladed screwdriver, just, to take the pressure off it so it will move, especially if, the bike's a couple of years old. But either way, you're going to have to deal with that foot peg hanger before you can totally remove it. Now this might seem like a lot of faffing about, but actually it's fairly easy and straightforward. It's only going to add a couple of minutes onto the job. The actual foot peg hanger is welded onto the lower chassis member or engine cradle. So you're going to need to remove one bolt and loosen another bolt off, just to give you enough wiggle room to actually get your gear changer out without scratching your foot peg hanger. In order to do this, remove the lower rear engine cradle bolt. Remove it completely, and then you can move to the front chassis rail mount. All you need to do with this particular bolt is loosen it off. Don't worry, your engine's not going to fall out or anything. You just need to loosen it off so you've got a bit of movement with the engine cradle. Just a few turns so that when you push down on your foot peg, you can drop it by just a few millimetres, which is all that's required to actually get the gear changer off. The same applies when you're fitting your new heel toe changer. You'll need to put a bit of downward pressure on that foot peg just to allow enough clearance so that you can slide it onto the spline. And while you're doing this, just have a little think about what is going to be the best angle for you. I personally found that it was better with the toe changer pointing down slightly and the heel changer quite high, so that it makes it easy for me to swap between the two and get a good positive gear engagement either way. And then, before you tighten anything up, try it out. And once you're happy that you've got it in the right position, you can go around and tighten everything up. I would start by tightening up the engine mounting cradle and then just nip up the actual fastener on the heel toe changer. Don't over tighten it, it doesn't need much force at all to secure it in place. Right, and that's all there is to it, really. I'm looking forward to trying this out once the icy road conditions have improved a little bit. And I'll get onto those boot reviews just as soon as I can. As I said, I will leave a link to Hitchcock's for this heel toe gear changer in the video description down below. Once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this and my other videos, and in doing so helping to support this channel. I really do appreciate it. It also helps this channel along if you would leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. Now, if you do subscribe, don't forget, hit the notification bell and ensure that your notifications in your channel settings are enabled. That way, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. Now, if you feel inclined to assist the channel in other ways, you can either join up to my Patreon page, or you can use the super thank button down below. Either way, it's much appreciated. I will of course be back on Friday, so until then, if you're riding in this god-awful weather, please ride carefully, and I'll see you soon.